Hi, I'm James and today we're going to be cooking the perfect roast potatoes, lovely fluffy and crispy roast potatoes. Obviously these we use every week, but these ones are specifically used for our Christmas Day meal. These are my recipe potatoes. They're really good all-rounder, great for mash, chips, roasting, everything. So I recommend buying them. There are certain varieties that are great just for roasting, but these are the best all-rounder and best value for money. So if they're large, cut them in half, but I personally like to keep them whole if you can, so peel them down to nice even sizes so they all cook at the same time. But if you've got them whole like this, they get a lovely crispy edge the whole way around, rather than having to try and crisp up a flat edge. It's a lot easier if you can keep them whole. So first job, we've got some water boiling on the back, and we're going to season that. It's really important to season your water with all potatoes, mashed with all vegetables, but especially with potatoes, because you'll never ever get the flavour back into that potato if you try and boil it without salt and then roast it. So it's really important that we've got a nice salty water, boil them up, and I'm going to cook them in that water for about 15 minutes. We're cooking them basically until they're just about to fall apart, so they're going to be so fluffy and really at the point where it's going to be mash. Then delicately take them out, and we'll get to that once they're done. But that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to place these in now and leave them in the oven, in the water for around 15 minutes, and then we'll come back to them. So our potatoes have been bubbling away now for around 15 minutes. So we'll just scoop one out and have a check. So they are now at the stage where they're almost mashed, they'll just be about to fall apart. So we've got to be really delicate with them, because we don't want them to fall apart, obviously. So all we'll do now is drain these in a large colander, so the biggest colander you've got, because if they all fall on top of each other, there's a risk of them turning to mash. So nice big colander, pour them off, and then we'll spread them out and let them cool down at air temperature, just until they're, you can touch them and handle them, and then they'll firm back up and they'll be easier to roast. So I'm going to drain these now, and then we'll come back to them shortly. So while we wait for our potatoes to cool down, we will get our tray ready to roast them in. When you're roasting potatoes in the oven, or anything with any amount of fat, try and get the sort of thickest, heaviest based roasting tray you've got, because if they bow and kink up, oil can drip out, and that's how you get sort of fires inside your oven. So always be extra careful anyway. I put quite a lot of sunflower oil in with my roast potatoes, like a really good layer, so it fully covers the bottom of the tray. So they almost they'll have a lovely coat all the way over. It just helps them getting golden brown. They really roast, sort of fry and roast at the same time. So we're going to place this in the oven for about 6-7 minutes at 180 degrees, just so the oil is lovely and hot and ready to go for when the potatoes are cooled down. So we've cooled our potatoes down so that we can handle them now. They're cool enough to hold. As you can see, they're just super fluffy now, and this is going to give these lovely crispy edges to the roast potatoes. So that's what you're looking for. Really soft potatoes. Rough them up afterwards a little bit, just so they don't fall apart too much. You might lose one or two. And then we'll place them in hot oil. So be really careful, obviously, to get this out of the oven. As you can see, the oil goes thinner and the volume grows as well as it gets hotter, but be really careful. So we need to put the potatoes in, just watching out for it spitting on us. Lovely. Give it a little roll round. Right, really important. Extra douse of salt. Some pepper. If you like pepper, I do, I absolutely love it, so plenty of pepper for me. Obviously, don't use it if you don't like it, or your children don't like it. Some thyme, just roughly broken up over the top. rosemary works just as well. And then some garlic. Skin on, so it's got an extra layer of protection. Just really roughly chop it. It's going to season the oil, flavour the oil, so you have a lovely roast garlic oil, and that's what we'll toss over the potatoes as it cooks. So we don't need to have it in fine little bits that will just burn. This way it will roast really nicely, caramelise, all the lovely garlic flavour will go into that oil, and then coat the potatoes afterwards. So I'll put them in the oven, 180 degrees still, around 20 minutes, check them, give them all a little flick over individually, another 20 minutes in the oven, and then they're ready to go. Golden brown all the way through, and it's that simple, but honestly when they're done, they're absolutely fantastic. So our roast potatoes have had around half an hour now. I've been checking them and just turning them sort of regularly. They're lovely and golden brown, so I'm going to pull them out. So you can see they're all really, really lovely and fluffy and crispy. The garlic's not burnt because we've left it in whole, so it's just been roasted, so that's lovely as well. So if you just place them in a bowl. And there we have it, so lovely, super simple roast potatoes.